Hi, my name is Sasha. Welcome to the Mothership. Let's do a quick check-in. So this side is the feminine aspect. So we're starting out with the Ace of Cups and intuition, Magician reversed. This side is the Divine Masculine. And this is actually some really positive energy to start with. And it seems that there is still a little bit of confusion, but there's also an inner knowing. And this is a process sometimes of having that confusion and the contrast between knowing what is what, but ultimately knowing that emotional fulfillment and love is a possibility, and having that desire for that. Not necessarily knowing how to make it happen, but all the energy is available. And also the Magician and the High Priestess in traditional decks are complementary. It's the same stage of learning and awareness. Let's check in on the Divine Masculine side first today. We have the World, the Four of Wands reversed, the Ace of Clubs, Five of Hearts, the Journey, and the Four of Water. So we saw this recently, the same type of energy where there's been emotional stagnation and a little bit of even boredom, which if you look at the roots of boredom, it's kind of tied into a little bit of either suppression or oppression of expression. So maybe not even knowing how to express, or having a false idea, a false program or belief about expression, or even just feeling limited, not able to bring forward what one wants to in the world. There are some major changes happening, and the Divine Masculine is getting more stabilized. Not exactly knowing what his journey is all about, but knowing that he's completed a big cycle and really wanting that passion of his expression. And matters of the heart are experiencing a lot of changes and transformations. Also, those transformations are because he hasn't been balanced, hasn't had balance with his passions. Let's peek at the Divine Feminine aspect. We have the Tower reversed, Wisdom reversed, the Two of Diamonds, the Eight of Pentacles reversed, the Crone, and the Three of Diamonds. So again, the Divine Feminine is dealing with the earthly realm and having some small epiphanies. And her process right now is a little bit more gentle than times of the past. She's experiencing more of a balancing out of her money, and even the way that she has been walking in the world, like having this self ideology Some type of ego is being balanced out within. False perceptions, I'm hearing, are coming off of her. Ideas and energies that were placed on her, implanted in her, and imprinted on her that actually weren't her own. So I'm hearing that as a strong message for her. When that happens to us, sometimes we are so accustomed to that energy in our field that we believe that it's ours. And when we recognize that it wasn't ours to begin with, it's much easier to release and let go of. So there's still a period of resistance within her. There are some more things that she needs to go in and look at, and this is all in the process. She's also reconnecting on a deeper level with her spiritual attunement and also with her inner child. And she's hearing that call to wake up and to use her manifestation ability. So let's get just a few more cards. We have the Empress, the Seven of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. The Empress is reversed. So she's coming out of a little bit of her, I want to say, withholding love patterns and conditioning. I don't know if there's a term for that, but some type of way that she's been acting and reacting and relating to others around the concept of having to prove yourself for love or withholding. There's a myriad of things and behaviors that come along with that, and it can look in different ways, but that's part of the core issues that are coming up. And this has a lot to do with her just being a little bit more free and trusting within herself, and also wanting to offer her emotions. And she's also putting down some of the misleading ideologies she's had about spirituality and religion. And she's just striving to get more in balance with her inner creativity and that place within her that is not limited, where she can truly feel like she's in harmony with everything within and without. And on the masculine side, we have the Fool reversed, the King of Swords, and the Emperor. So still a little bit of a fight with trusting the process, knowing his direction, and wanting to have that control over not only his situations and his stability. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a lot of layers of information. So there's a dual message coming through that, again, this is some inner child patterning and conditioning that relates to having a sense of loss of control. When you're a child, especially, you don't have all the tools necessary to understand exactly what's going on around you. And if you feel like your environment is unstable in some kind of a way, sometimes that can be overcompensated. So this is part of the patterning that's coming up to be hopefully uplifted with the masculines. And that's why there is that rigid wanting to control things, because whenever that trigger happens, the divine masculine goes into toxic behaviors. So there's there's still a misalignment there in the masculine aspect. And I'm being told actually to hold this card up for you. This is the full card in this deck. And it came reversed in the reading, but sometimes all it takes is just a simple switch to put ourselves on the right path. That was a direct message for someone. Let's get a couple more cards of advice. We have inspiration, release the dark wound and let love live. And what do you feel? So for the divine masculine, the card of inspiration goes along with the Fool, reclaiming that innocence of being very childlike and that exuberance for your path, and not necessarily having to have everything mapped out, but trusting that the way will be provided. And in the heart of the reading, there's the release the dark wound and let love live. And this is reversed. The meaning here is just to really focus your intention and your point of attraction on the frequency that you desire. Working on those wounds and bringing the shadow to light and not resisting through pain and discomfort, but going into pain and discomfort and dissolving. I've always said to people, when you are triggered and you know it's a trigger, work on 3 things. First, recognizing your trigger points. Second, going into them. No matter how it feels, go into that feeling and go as far into the feeling you can go, which means following the line or the thread of that feeling. Okay, I see that it's coming up here in this current situation, but where can I recognize that feeling that I've experienced in other time frames? And if you can't find it, it could be also embedded in another timeline. Some people call them past lives. And also we have ancestral and many of us have galactic contracts as well, karmic contracts that have brought us to this life. So the third thing is, when you go into these trigger points and you follow them, work on dissolving them. You can call in different assistants from either your star family, your guides, your ancestors, whoever can help you with what you're working on. Try not to ask people who don't have the answers, but find the people who do have the answers for the specific need that you have. And just work on dissolving. You can use white light, you can use gold light, you can use purple light, you can use blue light. Those work really well for dissolving trigger points and dissolving those lines that keep you tied to those imprints and implants. So I know that was a little bit lengthy, but let's move on to the feminine. What do you feel? And this is also reversed. But this kind of ties in with the Empress being reversed. And the message of advice is not only to follow your feelings, but even if you have to write things down about what makes you feel successful, feel love, feel gratitude, like get in touch with your feelings, develop a higher emotional awareness. When you develop this higher emotional awareness, it helps you to attract a higher frequency of your desires. And another way of saying this is, like when you, for example, when you like win the lottery. What does that feeling feel like? It doesn't matter what it feels like to others, but it matters what it feels like to you. Does it feel warm? Does it feel satiating? Does it feel like success? These are just words, but get into the actual like texture of it. How does it feel in your body? And really get grounded in that feeling so that you can begin to identify different frequencies.